Hi, welcome to one more episode of Zindagi Ka Safar. And when we are talking about Zindagi Ka Safar, there are some instances which you always remember all throughout your life. I think one such thing was when, as a 5 year old, I just moved into a new school, and I was very nervous, and I went and sat next to a very nice fellow who was there. Um, and then after some time, when I look on the other side, I find there's another guy who is exactly looking like him, and I just keep on the whole time. I was very intrigued by a 5 year old, seeing that there are two guys who were there who were exactly similar, and I was sitting in front of them. And both of them has joined us today in this particular episode. So welcome, Bart and team. They have been my batchmates and my classmate for 10 years, and we are going to be talking about their Zindagi Ka Safar. So welcome, both of you.
Thanks a
Thank you.
lot, Tuhin. Thank you so much. Pleasure to be here. And might I say that, actually the school brings the fondest memories and the best part of life that we spent together, actually. And those were the formative years. And very importantly, actually, the institution itself speaks for itself. There's so much so the school has given us, and the number of people that have done well from that school, from SS school, we always go back to it. Yes, and I can very well imagine what you would have gone through having two guys sitting on either side. We weren't the very we were pretty naughty, I would say. I'm not saying we were the very quiet ones. Yes, and possibly we wet our pants together. And when we remember the good Ayaba used to be there, and when we had to wear the bloomers and go back home, everybody knew that you'd pee in your pants. So those are good days, good memories that you brought back at 5 years old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
okay,
know. We
that's
spare
very
a moment
similar.
to
I
think
think,
about the teacher whom we just lost.
yeah,
Like
team.
Meena also died.
Uh, yeah, that's very true. Before we get to the teachers, team, this is a photograph which we had taken, I think, in 2002. So, can you tell us which one, or can the viewers guess? So, Bart is on the left hand side of the screen when you're going to be watching it, and team is on the right hand side, or the other way. Today, both of them are wearing similar shirts, but with a different color. So team is wearing an orange one, and Bart is wearing a blue one. So team, which one is you? Because I'm now totally confused. Whom am I talking to? Am I talking to, was I
Well,
talking to
well,
team or
Tuhin,
me?
I'll ease your problem. You're
Okay.
speaking officer. You're speaking to an officer, and the other is a gentleman.
Oh, that's a good one.
So if you look at the picture, you know who the officer is with the mustache and and the other one is a gentleman, like they say.
That's a good.
So the two of us, you'll come to know.
Yes. So team, you were talking about the teachers, and I had interrupted you. So sorry.
No, I recently, I mean, as doing, we go back to the school days,
Yeah.
and whatever we are, and whoever I am or we are, I think we owe a lot to those 12, 13 years that we spent in SFS school.
Yeah.
I mean, we did even our junior college, both of us, Bart and myself, we did our junior college also from SFS school.
Hmm.
But it has had such a huge impact. At that time, maybe we didn't realize at all. But
Hmm.
today, when I look back, if there's a picture of India in my mind, it is that school because
Exactly.
total unity in diversity, people of
Hmm.
all different cultures, caste, creed, religion. We all sat together, played together, and we grew up together. We respected. In fact, the best education may not have come from the books,
Yes.
honestly.
Yes.
Education that came to both, at least to me and to Bart, I'm sure also, and to all the classmates, is the education never came to us from the books. It came to us from the classmates. And not only our batch, the batch previous, the batch past, and being twins, yes. I mean, we were constantly the star attractions around the place because all the teachers would, every time any teacher was retiring or any teacher, so they'd want us both to hold the bouquets and go and gift it to them. So, it would be a little bit of a, but that was part of growing up. And, that was part and parcel of our lives. We enjoyed it and no doubt about it. And it all happened in the first standard. I think we were together in the kindergarten in KG, and then when we went to first standard, we were both in the same class. I think if you were in the same class, it was first A.
That's first day. Yeah. The first one, the moment we enter, the classroom is immediately
Yes,
there. The right hand side is the office or whatever. Yeah.
I think teacher Gladys was the class teacher, if I'm
Yes,
not
she was the
mistaken.
class. Yes.
And Bart and myself used to keep fighting in the class. So they used to always keep one student in between. So you person in between the two of us. And over your head, we would be fighting with each other, playing with each other. So the teacher was so fed up that they took a principal decision that from henceforth, till we pass out of school, we would be in different sections. So that is how they first tried to separate us. So then going ahead, I think second standard onwards, we were in two separate sections.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, Tuhin, I would like to come in here and say that, your program, Zindagi Ka Safar, the title of this program is amazing, actually. And when you said it initially and you sent me the link, I never really gave it much of a thought. But subsequently, when I thought of this title and I thought of when we are going to come on to this show with you, what really is Zindagi Ka Safar? And really very aptly, nothing like sitting with a schoolmate who we spent 10 years together, going through the grind of life and through everything. And you realize that Zindagi Ka Safar starts at a stage when you don't realize it. And the people that you emote with, the people that you spend all your time with, except for those 2 months of summer holidays when you're dying to say that, okay, yaar, chutti khatam ho jaye, we want to get back to school. Though we bunked school together, we must have done all the crazy things together. But Zindagi Ka Safar really, today, when we talk 30 years later, 35 years later down the line, we're all sitting down here and saying, hello, it's Zindagi Ka Safar. We don't have the hair on the head. We've all grown. And the best part is that what we're going to share with in the next 20, 25 minutes, a half an hour maybe with you, is really what we've gone through and what Zindagi Ka Safar really means to all three of us, maybe. Yeah.
So, Tim,
but I have
Tim.
My mind is the one thought that comes to my mind is how different would the Zindagi Ka Safar be if it was a poet's school? Yes. I would add more spike and more chapters to your.
Yes. We remain celebrating some more part time of our life now.
Okay, with that, maybe let me ask you that. Okay, the school again. I think we'll come back because there are a lot of memories about the school. So, was there a situation that both of you liked the same girl at any point? And hopefully your wives will not be hearing it, so you can be very frank about.
Always. We always same girls all the time.
The same, actually, yeah. The choice always was the same.
Yeah. It always depends on which view we are looking at. Who's looking at the front and who's looking at the back, or who's looking at the side. And
correct.
And it's okay. And Tuhin, with us, our wives are very well, got used to us. So they are okay with us looking at girls. It's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Okay. So coming back to again school and all, because there'll be a lot of. So as you very rightly said, and Bart, if you remember, I think when we again had gone back to this 2012 thing, I think teacher Almeida was sharing one incident where I think both of you were in different classes. And do you recollect that particular incident?
Yes. Tim, you would actually, that was a very this incident. This was in class 5 actually, and there was a nun by the name of Sister Salina, who was in 5A, and I was in I was in 5B, and Iris Vasu was my class teacher. And I remember we used to all go to school. 9:15 was school, but we used to all be there by 8:30 and all play marbles, And the moment that school, short of the second bell, all used to just rush into class. And that day, I went early to school, and I remember playing marbles, and I went to class also on time. I was sitting, and for some good reason, Tim was late to his class. So Sister Selena decided that if Tim is late, she whacked him. She took him out of the class, and then she decided that that his brother also would be late for school. So she came into our class, barged into, I remember teacher Iris teaching us English, and typical Sister Selena barged into the class and said, hey, you come here, you come here. I said, what happened? Next thing, both of us were mauled. We were bloody taken straight to the principal's office. I said, but I came on time. I was there at 8:30 in the morning. She said, no, you're telling lies. So both of us got punished. And the climax was, it was that typical Father Ozzy was the principal. And principal's office, the taboo where you never went, like unless something major happened. He made us both kneel down over there in his office. And the best thing is, after that, he hooked off. Maybe he must have gone to see his girlfriend. I don't know. But he forgot about us. And when he came back at 3 o'clock, he said, "Your guys are still here." Then he was miserable.
I know he forgot about us. He forgot about us. He went for his lunch and came back and all. And
the poor guys are still like 4 hours. You guys are like.
and Tuhin, locked in there also we were fighting with each other.
Sorry, team.
He went on blaming me. He said that you were responsible for me being here.
Yeah. Okay.
But I tell you, the other side also worked very well. Like the best part was, when we had to submit project works and other assignments, homeworks. So I could quietly slip off Tim's notebook, put my name on it, and give it off. The only time we got caught was that even the same teacher went to both the classes and asked for assignment at the same time. Then we knew we had to get down to now writing our own assignments or homeworks and submitting it.
And one teacher used to bend the stick of the side, and she used to write on the on the edge. She used to bend, and she used
on
to
the
write
dog ear.
Yeah. So that way nobody could copy, and there also we took a blade and we tried. Those were the days.
Yeah, so as you rightly said, I think the school education was definitely there, but I think we did a lot of extracurricular which was there. And as you pointed out, the moral fiber and the structure was such that I think we all shared our food. I think we shared each other's festival and we enjoyed life thoroughly. So between both of you, were you like, I remember Bart being a marble champion. It's not sounding correct. He used to play marble. Okay. And
he still plays marbles. He still plays marbles,
Yes.
All the time.
Yeah.
Put your hands up. You got to make sure you're not playing with marbles.
But nice point you brought out. Actually, when I rewind back and SFS school, dial anywhere in the world, anywhere, any country in the world, and you will find an SFS guy who's been there, excelled, done well in his XYZ. And the best part about SFS guys, see, Tuhin, if you recollect our school days, Tim and I were not good at speaking. We are not that eloquent, onto the stage or something. But probably, like what you said, co-curricular activities in terms of dramatics, debates, and annual days, and going for football matches, cheering up your team and taking the leadership. That sandal, like, and still we used to all dance to it. And even today, it's not so much the sound of it, but it's the emotions that really take you. And I guess somewhere down the line, though we may not find ourselves, I think every one of us who've been there for the debate, education contest, always felt, wish I could be like that person, And I think that is one of the driving forces where the co-curricular activities have influenced our minds. Like even you are no one would imagine that you're in the teaching field, you're a professor, you speak on this, whereas another person today, I'm in business development. So actually, and the number of people that I met, it's very easy to recognize. One classic example I'll tell you is recently retired Chief Justice Bobde.
Yeah.
He was in Nagpur airport as serving in the Supreme Court, and I happened to be in the airport. And I was visiting the airport, so those guys put me in the VIP lounge waiting for the flight. And both of us sitting, Justice Bobde. So then I said, "Hello, sir. Good evening. No, you're from Mr. School." He looked, gave me a stern look. He said, "Why?" I said, "You're very, very senior, sir." Then, immediately rattle out all the names, like from Sir Jambekar, Teacher Patsy, Francis, and not Francis, then he was talking of Father Matthew and all those principles. And the emotions automatically come. And today, when you see these guys doing so well, it only one thing that, like what Tim said, it's not about the teachers. It's not. We didn't have the best teachers. Or we didn't have some great teachers. But the sheer dynamics of that school, the sheer length of those football, the co-curricular activities really added to. I think it's a very nice point you brought up.
So team, after you guys, we were there till 11, 12. So after that, was it different colleges you went to, or how was it?
Well, the story goes to him that in the 12th standard also our marks were only 2 marks apart between the two of us.
Okay.
And while we had appeared for the 12th science, we had done maths, physics, and chemistry. And we were certain that there's no way we could pass this exam. I mean, finished. We are both failures now. Absolutely. Both of us had thought, that's the end of the world now for us. So we both decided that, if we pass, we are both going to no more do touch science. We're only going to do commerce or arts, whatever, but not science. So the results came and we both passed, and Bart said, "Arey, we passed. Arey, I'm continuing in science." So I said, "Okay, great." I stuck to my guns. I said, "I'm going with commerce," and that's when we diverted. I mean, that's 35 years back. We went different ways. Bart went to SLS College, and I joined Dhanwate National College for the first year commerce. I did only 1 year in college, and in the remaining 2 years, I just appeared as an external student to get my graduation, because I didn't think going to college was much of a charm, as much as school was. Yeah, and
actually, really, what influenced my decision at that time was basically I was in NCC, and somehow Sir Wilson was our thing. You would remember you were in Army wing, we were in Air wing, Raju and all the great guys. And that 15th August parade used to be our, pride, donning our uniforms, the NCC uniforms, and we used to start it. So that thing really stuck on really with me, and it was amazing. I used to always wish that maybe I could get into the senior wing of Air Wing, and at the time I realized science was a necessity. And I went to SLS College because from there someone had given me some ideas. Actually, it was not true that NCC you can join through SLS College and all that. So when I went, and that was basically my reason, and it worked out well in a sense. I managed to do NCC, and I got selected for the Air Force, and I went and did a good career.
That's where you found your wife, right?
Yeah.
That's where you found the love of your life.
That's where you met your wife, he said.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the same. Actually,
he went to Deers Park. SLS College was very close to Deers Park. He found all the deers over there.
The honey deers.
Honey deers.
The one with sponsors.
Yeah, that's right. So we know what you're doing in SLS College.
Yeah.
But then team, you got even if you wanted to go to commerce, you got such a bad deal of going into Dhanwate. It's like SFS is like so high class. I will not say low, because I was in Shivaji Science next door. And
my objective very simple, that I was so sure that I didn't know whether I wanted to even study further. I was so fed up of all that integration and derivation, and oh my God, that maths of 12th standard drives you nuts. Okay, and even though I was good with figures, I like figures, and good figures are all the more attractive. But I like playing with figures. So, but then when you go to maths and they teach you derivation, integration, and all those kind of things, and they take you, and especially then you come to chemistry and they say balance the equation, and I don't know if today I can think of all this chemistry, and somebody says, anyway, Bart was better, I guess, at all those things. But I was terrible. I mean, I was for sure not. So when I wanted to take admissions, I applied in Islap College and Dhanwate National College, and I think GS College was the other one. And the first place I got admission, my name came on the first list there, and I took it. Because I didn't even bother to really choose, because I said, let me just see, because I don't know what I was getting into. Commerce was something absolutely new to me. But like I said, as I go on today, if you ask me, I believe that was the best thing that I ever did was to move into commerce because I took in fact, while doing my graduation, I started doing my ICWA. So I completed inter ICWA, both Group 1 and Group 2. So in 1989, when I graduated in commerce from Nagpur University, I also completed my ICWA inter.
Wow.
And that's when everybody, from being dull student, everybody started saying, "Oh, you're a brilliant student. Yeah, you managed to finish this ICWA inter. Fantastic. Yeah, no, you should do CA, like CA, you know." So I and my elder brother was a chartered accountant. So everybody, you will do CA. So I said, okay, why not? I said, okay. Then finally I thought, okay, maybe I do have the brains there. Maybe I should go for CA. And that's how I started my articleship for CA. And when I started my articleship for CA, I started appearing for the CA exams. And I realized one thing that, yes, I do have affinity towards numbers. I like numbers. I like playing with numbers. And I managed to get fantastic. I mean, I scored 42 out of 50 in company accounts in the CA and CA exam. You know,
Wow.
the only thing that I couldn't handle was law. I mean, company was huge. It was lovely. I loved reading the law subject. I could understand everything about law. I could do, but I guess you need to have a certain legal way of writing. So that was something which I guess. So I gave 2 attempts in the CA exam for the law, and first time I didn't clear. Second time when I appeared, I passed in law. I passed in the other 2 subjects, which are maybe economics and something other, 3 papers, and I fell short of just 3 marks, which was one and 150. 50% is the passing, you know. So I just got 147, and then I could motivate myself to go further. That's when I CA. But in the meanwhile, I completed my 3 years of articleship, and my love for accounting grew a lot. So I started thereafter. I started taking on book writing. I've always been, all my life I've been self-employed most of the time, except for the 2-3 years when I was doing my articleship, and through my articleship I also came to Bombay with a company. And so for me, accounting was what, it was like writing the storybook of a company. For me, book writing was when I did my accounts. I always looked at presenting the storybook of a company, of its finances, how the money came, how the money was earned, how the money was spent, and I loved it. I enjoyed it. So I used to take on accounting work for multiple clients. Just book for small clients. That is how I started my thing as being self-employed. And then came a point where 5 of my clients were in the same business. Were into contracting business, 5 of them. And I always felt, and because I had done, my background was costing, because I had done ICW inter, my background was full costing, prime cost, overheads, and how, I had a full background of costing. So I realized if people who had no background were doing fantastically well in contracting, why not me? And of course, I didn't have the capital, didn't have the guts to do it and all that. So I continued. And somewhere down the lane in 2008, I think 2008 to 2013, there was this company from Australia. They asked me, and they outsourced their accounts payable and payrolling work to me. So sitting down in Mumbai, I was handling the accounts payable and payrolling for this company across the 5 locations in Australia. That is Perth, Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, and the capital, Canberra, the capital, ACT. So that is how then for 5 years till 2013 I was doing doing that for them. And when that company got took over by Oracle took over that company. So then they said no, they have their own system. They didn't need my services. So I went back to account book writing again, or accounts again. And then it struck me that, why don't I start on my own? And Bart was quite instrumental in that. He gave me the first break of, he was working that time with Capital First. And he told me that, there's a small office that they want to do in Nashik. And I took on this first job in Nashik. And from there I started Tuhin. Between 2014 to 2019, I've done, maybe 40 to 50 crores worth of business across 10 locations.
Wow.
10 locations in 10 states in India. So different states, from Kolkata to Bhubaneswar to Madhya Pradesh, Bhopal. I've done Kerala, I've done Karnataka, I've done Maharashtra. I mean, so many states. Okay. So therefore, I have had a vast exposure. But in all this exposure, if you want to understand the quantum, I've handled 50,000 square feet office from scratch to finish in 100 days. That was my achievement. And ever since then, it's been a role. I mean, companies have been just ensuring that I take on this role. But of course, now because of the pandemic, things are at a hold at this moment. I mean, at the moment, I'm more of a retired, but not retired. I mean, I've taken a break from, and right along the of my life, I've worn various hats. I mean, right from being, apart from that, I've been involved with social service in the church, then partly into politics also. I've been on the what do you call managing committee as a treasurer for a 100-year-old charitable trust in Bandra. So socially, I have been also quite active. And apart from that, at present also for the last 8-9 years now, I've been the secretary of my housing society where I live. So I mean, it's been quite a lot of learning, a lot of exposure.
Huge amount of achievement for a gentleman, and we'll come to the officer next. But before that, I wanted to just make, because I suddenly realized after making that statement about Dhanvate that I have some very good friends who actually passed from Dhanvate. I don't know whether you know, I will tell a couple of names. There was one girl I know called Suvarna, and there's a Neeta. They were all part of Dhanvate. I don't know whether they were in your class or not. But anyway,
no, Dhanvati was a good college. In fact,
one of the very good
their
colleges.
accounts professor was quite good. Professor Jivaji was there. He was a pretty good professor. And like all colleges, it was quite a decent college, quite a nice college. Booties, in fact, both one of the Booty brothers were with me. They were also twins. I don't know if you know, but
I recollect.
Yeah, they also were twins, Chunna and Munna. So I think Chunna was with me in the same Munna, and they also, I think they also split up. I think Munna did science and Chunna did commerce. So Chunna was with me in this thing. I don't know what was their name, but her Booty were Venkatesh and Balaji Booty. One was Venkatesh, the other Balaji. But we give them as Chunna and Munna.
Chunna and Munna.
Yeah.
Okay,
actually,
coming to the officer. Bart.
Actually, I'd like to start by again coming back to cutting back to your focus of your title, that is Zindagi Ka Safar. And really speaking, we have traversed almost 3 decades of a career and are heading towards the sunset of our careers. We're all in the 50 plus age bracket. But really speaking, when we talk of our careers and when you rewind back, it is not really, yes, we've achieved a lot of things, and a lot of things that we criticize as youngsters getting in on the onset of our careers. How much of that did we really step up and stand up for? That's what really makes a difference, in my personal opinion. And in this Zindagi Ka Safar, what my focus really is, when this gave me a time to contemplate really. And yes, I think I would give myself 8 on 10 for standing up for what I believed in and doing what I lived life on my terms. So I think that's what was important. We have our talents. We've got a career. We've got a career which puts us in positions where we may not agree with or may not be in line with our values, and sometimes forced to go through, a career or do things or take up a job which otherwise may not. And I feel that's where Zindagi Ka Safar, I believe that I score high on that. So, and what Tim said, really speaking, again, coming to the other part of this program is, as twins, actually, I'm everything that Tim isn't. And Tim is everything that I ain't, from the time we were kids, if you really see, Tim is more of a reserved guy who would be very meticulous with his work, very prim and proper on things. And I was that carefree,
flamboyant.
would like a common example would he would look after his clothes, he would iron his shirt, and I would wear it and run off to college. So and similarly, like he says about numbers, I am absolutely blind to the numbers. So we actually really speaking, if you talk in terms of twins, we really complement each other. And one aspect, actually, other side of the behavioral part of it, one mind when we say as twins, is when we went to Goa. Mom and dad moved out from Nagpur and shifted to Goa. And one holiday we all arrived, and I remember Tim came and he took out a pair of shoes, and my wife kept looking at the shoes, and then my wife asking his wife, when did Tim buy the shoes? And apparently around the same time, both of us went to the same brand stores in different cities across and bought the same shoes and came. So typically, actually, with twins, there's a real mental connect. So actually speaking, when you're a twin, you don't see the need to have friends outside your own. This we both have each other for. I think the mental connect is terrific. So coming back to the career part of it, yes, I very early, hardly at 19 or 20, I was selected for the Air Force. Went in a lot of setbacks during my training phase, where I had to swallow up hell of a lot and go in for the second best to become a navigator rather than a pilot in the Air Force. I went in for it because times were bad. The Indian economy was not too good. In fact, 92 was the time when things were just opening up. So mine was in the early 90s. And we had the Gulf War, Saddam Hussein raising. So my alternate career, which I imagined that I would go for merchant navy, or that didn't work out. So I won't say that yes, everything was honky dory, and yes, I got selected and everything. It was tough. It was really, really tough. But I went into it with a clear vision that I would serve for 20 years and move out. And that way, I believe I managed a career well. In a sense, within the first 4 years, I qualified to be a flying instructor. I was an instructor in the Air Force. I taught flying. At a very early stage, I was nominated to be the spokesman in the Ministry of Defense. So during the most crucial and critical time of the history of armed forces, when you had the Kargil War, when you had the naval chief being sacked, when you had the MiG-21 being called coffins, I used to be the media relations and handling international and national media. And that was a huge experience for me, which holds me till today, where I look beyond the news. Even today, I'm a news buff. I always see things that are not written about. I pick up reporters who otherwise will not report on things and are reporting from the ground. So I have a nose for the news and strategy, macro level, geopolitical, international trade. So having said that, actually, I excelled in that, and thereafter I was called back again in headquarters for a similar role, more for strategy. And actually, that is what helped me develop my career in strategy. So mostly, I'm into strategies. For example, just yesterday, I had a meeting with the Automotive Components Manufacturer of India Association, this ACMA, and I was talking to the CEO yesterday. And he was. I told him about the strategy. I told him about how we can either play to the gallery or come down to the reality. And I put forth three strategies within about 35 minutes interaction that we had. And the next thing he said, "But can you be on our committee? Can you come for our meetings?" I said, "I'll be happy to as long as it improves." So I did that, and I left Air Force in 2013. I left Air Force not because it's a brilliant career, a brilliant armed forces, the most amazing place to be for as a job, as a career, as everything. And I had one, but what I felt is as a navigator, I had reached my zenith. There was no further scope for me to move on, and I felt it's good time to rethink. And at that crossroads, so at 2010, I decided. 2013, I left, and I stepped into the corporate. So I initially, because of the cooling period, I went into a non-banking financial company. I was lucky to get a break. I set up the entire northern, all the branches at that time. Today, it's IDFC President Chairman Vaidyanathan was the one who interviewed me, who put a lot of confidence in me, and they're a wonderful team. And thereafter, I was handpicked by the Reliance team to set up the aerospace park in Mihan. In fact, that's the time where Nagpur, though my hometown, but wasn't really the yardstick for me nominating. But I went across the countries, selected Mihan as a hub where we could set up an aerospace park. And I'm happy to say that we operationalized in 2017. And like I said earlier, Zindagi Ka Safar is not about, milestones you achieve only, but it's also about how you do it. It's not
Hmm.
what you do, but also how you do it.
Hmm.
So I reached a crossroad where I felt that yes, work is good, challenges are good, but in terms of my values, they do not meet. So
Hmm.
I need to move out. So it was a very difficult decision to take where salary is probably less than half of what I was drawing, position which was much lower. But I believe that it's good to speak on this program and to say in Zindagi Ka Safar, it is not really about the money that you earn, but it's about state of health, your mind, your
Yeah.
happiness, your families, your own self-respect, your pride that you take forward to, and most importantly, courage of conviction to stand up for what you believe is right. In
Hmm.
a sense, right through when we are growing up, even today when you talk in terms of teams, you're in the HR, this province, you'll know about how teams, norming, forming, but how many of us really relate? Like today, work from home is happening.
Hmm.
Yesterday or on Friday, we had this chai, we had this normal virtual chai. I asked everybody, I said, tell me how many people stay in your family? When you
Hmm.
have in India, when you have 10 people staying in one house, and now you expect someone to perform work from home, what
Hmm.
are the yardsticks that you're going to use to assess that person's assessment? So, as a leadership, that's when I need to stand up and tell my boss and say, sorry, it's good, works as a feedback, but we are still India. We still have issues. When we get up in the morning, there may not be water, there may not be electricity, you may not have a good internet connection to
Hmm.
probably perform your job. So, how do you come back to? So, typically, today, why I'm happy to do this program, Tuhin, is I can speak. I can
Hmm.
speak fearlessly. I can speak and say, this is what I believe in, this is what I've done, and this is what I stand for. So I live terms on my terms. And this is where Tim and I will really agree in the sense like we will never, it's not about the money, but we lived all our lives, we've always dictated to ourselves how we should do things. And I
Hmm.
think that's our strength, really.
Okay, that's
And
wonderful.
I summarize it, Tuhin, both of us
Yeah.
never aspired to anything. Things happen. And like this, we are all in the same, we're not in the same boat. We're in
Yes.
different boats, but we're all facing the same storm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So finally, what we learn through life, what teaches us through life, that's what's going to see us through.
Yes. True.
Yeah. So, and lastly, currently I'm the sector lead or the head of aerospace for the British High Commission here
Hmm.
in New Delhi, and I represent Department for International Trade. And my mandate is to increase UK-India trade. So, what I do is basically understand what are the capabilities in the civil aviation sector here in India and how we could get UK and India to come together to work together where it's a win-win for both sides. Where there's a technology, whether there's best practices and other thing, and how we can strategize that both sides win, where both sides governments can increase employment, both sides governments can talk in terms of investments, can talk in terms of growth, and
Hmm.
more importantly, climate change and go green. Yeah, so that's what we aim to.
I think your organization has got the best person because I think, given your practical experience which was there, plus I think you also once you came out from Air Force, you also finished your MBA, which has given you a total grounding of the business aspect and so many things which is there.
Yeah, here I could say that was one stepping stone, one hell of a stepping stone actually. Like what Tim said, in 2010 when I decided to leave the Air Force, I needed a qualification. What you would say, topping up, you top up your
Yeah.
qualification. So I attempted joining Lal Bahadur Shastri Institute,
Hmm.
and luckily I got through. But what really took the cake was I managed to top all the semesters, and
Wow.
that was a revelation to me itself.
I think Bart,
And finally,
we both bloomed pretty late in life. And we're
yeah,
still,
actually, that's
still
another
blooming.
thing. Queen, actually,
The good part is we're
if you
still
if you
blooming.
if you rewind back to our school days and you take a nominal roll of all the our fellow students, you would see that a lot of people who in school were very normal. They are
Hmm.
doing very well, like if you see Anil Sethi writing books,
Yeah.
writing this, reached very high places.
Hmm.
And so there are a lot of people doing very well, So it really means today as parents also when you see your children, actually each one have their own times, I guess, So that's another Zindagi Ka Safar lesson which we could really put in here.
because I think one thing I have realized, and um, I used to be doing pretty good in academics and all, and that's why more and more I use that as a strength, thinking that okay, that is what is going to be there. But then what I realized was a couple of things. One, uh, I didn't face too much of setbacks, specifically in academics, when I was growing up. And when I started facing in the corporate life, that became more of a challenge for me to cope up, because see, you don't get one good marks somewhere and then you say, okay, fair enough, I'll try one more time. And you are continuously getting. So I had huge problem with managing the real life things where academics was not something which was there. And coming to a second thing, I have also observed that even in my other thing, the people who were not doing great in academics, because as I think team had pointed out, he did exceedingly well everywhere, but maybe law somewhere, maybe the drafting he could not put it correctly, or otherwise he missed by a couple of marks and he could not clear that particular bit which was there. Yeah. So, but that does not stop him from doing his job in a perfect manner. And both of you have actually showing, and I have seen
Tuhin,
so many
I
people.
just would like to just say one thing here. I realize one thing is that whatever happens in life
Hmm.
happens for the best.
Yes.
Because trust me, today, if you ask me that do I regret not being a CA? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not. Because I'll tell you what, I'm sorry to say, but I respect all chartered accountants and all. I mean, with all due respect to education and all, what does a chartered accountant do? After somebody has spent all the money and blown up everything, you're sitting and bloody auditing their accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? A postmortem. You're doing a postmortem. You know, and actually, if there is anybody who adds value, I mean, how? So you know, I used to find like, boss, बात गई सब कुछ हो गया उसके बाद बैठ के हम लोग रिपोर्ट बना रहे हैं. Well, sir, that's not who I am. That's not who I wanted to be. I wanted to be creative. I wanted to be something who would be part of a story. You know, who would create something. And
No, but
trust me,
here,
when the
here
opportunity
credit
came my way, I picked up all the philosophy, all the philosophies of life, of management, of costing, and put them. And trust me, I've been successful, highly successful. In 5 years, what I've achieved, I'm telling you, Bart has been there, I've been witnesses. And today I'm sitting comfortably. And now my son just finished graduation last year because of the pandemic, nothing. I told him, son, why don't you set up something on your own? And today I'm mentoring him. In 1 year, he set up his business. And in 1 year, trust me, he's broken even and he's doing well at these times. And my job now is to mentor him. I'm just mentoring him.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what I said. What I learned is that from the books you get maybe 10%, but what comes from your surrounding, from your classmates, from your environment, 90% comes from that 90%.
Yeah.
Because if today you and me look at us, we can sit and talk. When we went out into the world, we could sit and talk. We could talk to people. Why? Because we were exposed in school. We were exposed. Maybe we had execution contest. I think you were the 10th standard Red House captain. I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
you were there. In sports, we had sports exposure to sports. We had okay. Maybe not everybody was on stage. Maybe the good people, the good ones were put up on stage. But it didn't mean the others. I was always a backstage. I was always behind stage. Behind stage, I was helping the teachers with something or the other. But But all these things exposed us. It made us grow. I mean, and some of the other, it exposed us to so many. What I loved about Nagpur, I loved one thing about Nagpur was it exposed us to all the possible cultures, religions. I mean, you name it. We had you name me any caste, creed, religion. In fact, one was the Saint Francis, what do you call Sir Francis, Sir Francis Xavier. Fantastic man, one of the most brilliant sirs. His philosophy is that he would make sure that the most dumb guy in the class understood. Until then, he would move. You call them champions.
Yes.
That is the philosophy here.
No, but what Tim is saying is true. Actually, right from Durga Puja to I tell you, Diwali, Durga Puja, Holi.
We were exposed. Today, unfortunately, we live in a more globalized environment and all. But And one more thing is, Tuhin, you and us are lucky people. We have seen the phase when we stood in line in the ration shop for what do you call oil and sugar.
Yes.
Every Diwali you get extra sugar and oil.
Yes.
Okay. We went through a phase when only few people had ambassadors and Fiats and landline phone. Few people had. Everybody. We were on the cycle days. Imagine the transformation we have been part of for last from 1991 to 2014. See the transformation that has happened.
Yes.
Unfortunately, we are regressing. Today we are standing in line all over again. But for what? For our own money. For our own money outside the bank, we are standing in queue.
Anyway, I think we'll keep that to the side.
Anyway,
but actually,
I thank God for the lovely. I thank God for that. The most beautiful phase we have seen from dark to light.
Yeah.
I literally the transformation. Like today we are sitting and talking. In back in school, if somebody had told us, and we saw it in Star Trek and all, we thought it was science fiction. Speaking like this was science fiction.
Exactly.
Today, Bart, I'm in Mumbai and Tuhin, I think you're in Bangalore.
Yes.
Yet, we're in the same room. So I mean, I cannot believe we have seen such a huge, lovely, and to come out of it, I think that was Zindagi Ka Safar. We have seen into the extremes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but Tuhin also has been entrepreneurial that way. He's written a couple of books and all that. He's an author too. He's got a PhD. He's an author. So actually, in all this, like how you talked about being entrepreneurial. Tuhin too has, he's got into various fields. Okay, the Zindagi Ka Safar is also one of his entrepreneurial.
But Tuhin, I don't know if you remember in one journey from Nagpur to Mumbai we did together.
Yes, we did together. Yeah,
you kept on working with it.
Yeah, I was Reliance. You kept on sleeping, team, all throughout, and Bart kept on talking all throughout the journey which was there. So
no, Bart was not with me at that time. You were confused. Bart was not with me. I was working in, I remember it was I think 93 or 94, one of my trips when I first came to Bombay. Yeah. And going back together, we were in the same coach. And
that's amazing. That's how Zindagi Ka Safar is. Yeah.
Yes. And Zindagi Ka Safar, ye jo hai Zindagi, Rakesh Bedi and Shafi Inamdar, we grew up watching that. And jo Zindagi Ka, I forget that. He says, Rakesh Bedi said a nice saying. जो होता नहीं, जो सोचता है वो होता नहीं, और जो होता है वो सोचने लगता है.
सोचता नहीं, बराबर, exactly. Okay, so I think we had this wonderful discussion for around I think 50 minutes. So before we end, because आप लोग का दोनों का background is such wonderful, you are giving. So when you come to any social thing, what are the few songs or couple of songs which you sing? If you can sing one of them for us, so that we can end the Zindagi Ka Safar with that.
Sure, hear us sing.
Yeah, but
actually, Tuhin can join.
I will join. Yes, I will join. Yes.
Okay. So what do you think, Bart? What should we give them? You like something nice and romantic, or you like something naughty?
Naughty one will be better, no? Because we are talking about naughty days.
Okay. Give him a naughty one then.
Give us a naughty one.
Okay. So Tuhin, all you have to do is, the chorus. You have to join us in the chorus.
Okay.
All you have to sing is again and again and again.
Again
and again. No, that's all you join in.
Okay.
Doing the rest we do.
Okay, good.
Once I was single and then. I'm not getting my voice.
Okay.
Once I was. Bart, you please start. I'm not getting my note.
Once I was single and then. When I was single and then. Once I was single, my pockets did jingle. I wish I was single again. Again and again and again.
Tuhin, come on.
Again and again. When I was single, my pockets would jingle. I wish I was single again.
I married my then. I married my wife, oh then. I married my wife, the plague of my life. I long to be single again. Again and
again, again,
again and
again,
again. Again and again
again
and
and again.
again. I married my wife, the plague of my life. I long to be single again.
My wife ran a fever, oh then. My wife ran a fever, oh then. My wife ran a fever that just wouldn't leave her. I wish I were single again.
Again,
Again and
again,
Again
again
and
again,
again
and
and
again,
again. Again and
again,
again
again
and
again,
and
again
again.
and
again.
again. My
My
wife
wife
ran a fever that just
just
wouldn't leave her. I wish I were single again.
my wife, she died, oh then. My
Oh
wife
then,
died, oh then. My
oh
wife
then,
died. I laughed till I cried. What joy to be single again. Again and
Again,
again
again,
and again and
again.
again. Again
Again
again,
and
and
again
again
again,
and
again,
again.
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 My
My wife,
wife,
she
she
died.
died. I
I
laughed
laughed
till I
till I
cried
cried. What joy to
with
be
joy to be
again.
single.
I
I
am
married another, oh then. I married another, oh then. I married another one, worse than the other one, and I long for the first one again,
Again,
again
again,
and
again and
again
again,
again
and
and
again,
again,
again. Again
again and
again,
again
again,
and
and again.
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 My
I
wife,
married another one, worse
another,
than the
as
other
than
one,
the
and I
other.
long for the first one again. Okay, now the final verse.
So
Fib.
all my young dear friends, so
Hmm.
all my young dear friends, be good to the first, for the next will be worst, and you long for the first one again, again and
Again
again,
and again and again. Again
again
and
and
again
again
and
and
again.
again. When
Be
I
kind to the first, for the next may be
want
worse,
it to
and you long
you,
for the first
I
one
wish
again.
I was single again. So, Tuhin, you
Thank
Again.
already
you.
Wow, wonderful. Um, so
I'm
I
not
have
sure
heard
how
many
it
of,
will sound because we're in three different locations, and I'm sure there'll be some.
yeah, this is one challenge with a Zoom thing that when multiple people sing or say, sometimes it
There's a
tries to
lag.
figure out who is the person I will want to give it. But I think it came
Yeah,
out
yeah.
pretty well, and the spirit is what matters. Uh,
Yes.
Yes.
yeah, so thanks a lot.
So thanks a lot, Zoom. Thanks. Thanks, Twin.
Thank you, Tuhin.
It was a
And
pleasure to be on your show and wish Zindagi Ka Safar all the very best and many more followers and viewers on YouTube. All the best, Twin. Thank you.
Tuhin, all the best to you. And unfortunately, we should have got a little more acquainted, more on. We should catch up with you again to find out more how you're doing and how your children. I mean, are you married? Are you children? You never told us anything of
Yes. We'll do one more
Okay.
Zindagi. We'll do one more Zindagi Ka Safar where I'll talk about my couple of marriages and
Yes.
multiple
that.
children and that kind.
I think couple of marriages, lucky guy, yeah. You had more
No,
than
no,
one
it has
marriage.
to be.
That's a lucky guy.
Yes.
Then again and again will work for him, but
Again and again and again.
Yes. See you. Bye.
and
Chalo, bye,
you
bye.
know what? You need many more. If you talk to the D'Souza brothers, you know you're going to need lot of bites to
I
record.
know.
Because
Yes.
once we start talking, you're going to tell us enough, boss. I got to end the program. Anyway, it was nice
Bye.
talking to you. Bye. Take care.
Bye, bye,
Thank you.
bye.
Bye. Bye.